from FAKS Investigative Services. It is an, what do you call it, a background investigation company and a research company. Somewhere in 2012, together with me and my team, we decided to use it to organize a survey concerning performance of ministers, deputies, regional ministers, and the MPs. So since 2012, we've been doing that. And last year was one of the editions that we did. And Honorable Minister, that is Honorable Godfred Dame, became one of the top best. That's number one. Together, he paired with the Transport Minister and the Education Minister. So normally, when it happened like that, we add crack to it. Comment that came from the public was the 499 students that were initially dismissed, and they wrote them back into the system. That particular issue raised came up and gave him more points, and I think he scored 92 points, 92% out of 396 responded that we have from the public.
This is the work that we do. We call to public service, and we do it without the expectation of any reward or recognition. And I think that I must first pay tribute to the dedication of the staff of the office of any achievement or accomplishment on my part definitely could not have been possible without their unflinching support. Ever since I walked into the office, they have given their all, they've thrown their full weight behind me, and I think that whatever accomplishments clearly have been a fruit of their dedication, and so I'm very grateful to them. First, a lot of challenges in the sense that there were two big interests that were competing. The interest of course, the General Legal Council, which I take a decision, or General Legal Council, definitely a member of the General Legal Council. And standards have been set for the examination and all. And of course, I also recognize that there was some ambiguity in the standards, and for that matter, on account of fairness, maybe a review had to be made on the decision to deny the foreign nationals. So I had to balance the interest of the General Legal Council, which was definitely seeking to protect its integrity against the legitimate demands of the candidates for the examination. And I thought that in the spirit of fairness, second look ought to be taken at the decision to deny them. And of course, we also recall that I had earlier on written a letter to Parliament drawing their attention to their unconstitutional conduct in reporting to give directives to the General Legal Council. And that decision clearly was an account of principle, was also on the basis of firm principle, and I believed that to the extent that Parliament did not have such authority, they ought not to wade into it. And the President had already, as I read in the letter to Parliament, requested that I should look at the petition by the foreign nationals, and if possible, necessary resolution should be made on the grievance. So I thought that the appropriate authority vested with the power to do so. Of course, the Attorney General under the Legal Profession Act, the Attorney General is responsible to the President of course, under the Constitution. The Attorney General is empowered, it's not empowered, it's actually mandated to take instructions from the President because he has the principal of the government, central government. So I thought that the proper lines had to be drawn. So these were all parts and considerations that I took into account. But I think I must also place on record that whatever I do in public service, public life, is consistent with my vow that the zealousness and industry with which I practice my private life, of course, one accompany every decision that I take in public service. So with the same amount of industry with which I represented the interests of my client in my private career, will be attendant in the discharge of my public functions. And perhaps that is what we see the fruits of. And so I will actively defend the interests of the state and represent the legitimate demands of society, and that is what I'm called for. Strong anchor for the attainment of whatever objectives the President has set for himself. As this office really stands in the gap when it comes to the attainment of accountability, promotion of good governance, and the creation of a sound atmosphere for the conduct of business in the country. That is why we have institutions like Registrar Generals, Department, the Legal Aid Commission, and of course the General Legal Council under the Ministry. And so we mindful of the very important role that this ministry plays, and I'm always prepared, as I said, to use the best of my abilities to promote the attainment of the object of good governance that the President has set for himself.